Welcome back to our second week of AWANA Online. I hope you had fun with your jar full of names of your family and friends to encourage this past week. If you did it, how did it go? Did you receive any calls from any of your friends? If you still have names in your jar or you want to add more, let's go ahead and keep it going and we can continue it this week. So do you remember where I was last week in the video? Yep, I was at the river. And can you guess where I am this time? I'm in the kitchen. The reason I'm in the kitchen is because I'm going to need the microwave for the last part of our lesson today. So our lesson today is from John, the book of John, chapter 3, and it's about John the Baptist and Jesus. And everyone was asking John the Baptist to explain his purpose. Why was he doing what he was doing within Jesus's ministry? So, if you have your Bibles and want to open them up to John chapter 3, we're going to be in John 3:28. And if you want, you can read the whole chapter later this week because it's really good. But John the Baptist was sharing that his purpose was to point people to Jesus, the Son of God. He says in verses 28 through 30, "You yourselves can testify that I said, I am not the Christ, but I am sent ahead of him. The bride belongs to the bridegroom. The friend who attends the bridegroom waits and listens for him and is full of joy when he hears the bridegroom's voice. That joy is mine, and it is now complete. He must become greater. I must become less." So John talks about a wedding. You have the bride, the groom, and the friends. The friends are there to share in the joy of the bride and the groom, and to help make sure their day is special. They are there to support the bride and groom. And that is what John the Baptist is saying that he is doing with Jesus. He is full of joy and sharing with others about who Jesus is. He says in verse 30, "He, Jesus, must become greater, and I, John the Baptist, must become less." At a wedding, the bride and groom are the focus, and the bridesmaids and the groomsmen are there to support or point everyone's focus to the bride and groom. It would be fun if you asked your parents to see their wedding picture of when they were a bride and groom and their friends who were standing in support of them. Here's my wedding picture, and here's me, the bride, and Brian, the groom, and you can see all of the groomsmen and the bridesmaids supporting us. That is what John the Baptist was saying he was to Jesus. He was a support. John the Baptist went around and shared about the coming Messiah, and he pointed others to Jesus. In fact, I think that's a great memory verse for us. John 3:30. I wrote it out here. He must become greater. I must become less. John 3:30. Can you say that with me? He must become greater. I must become less. John 3:30. How can we make God greater in our lives and make ourselves less? How can we point others to God and take the focus off of us? Well, first, we can trust that God is in control and that he has a plan. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you." John the Baptist knew that Jesus had a plan. Jesus' plan was to save the world from their sins. So John, knowing that plan, could point others to Jesus instead of to himself. Second, we realize that everything we have comes from God. If you are a good singer, guess who gave you your voice? God. If you're a fast runner, guess who gave you strong legs? God. If someone compliments or praises you for your abilities, you could say, thank you. I'm grateful God gave me those abilities and gifts. So now it's time for us to use the microwave. And you can try this at home with your parents, of course. Ask them first. But we're going to do a little experiment showing this verse. He must become greater and I must become less. So first of all, you need to start with a bar of ivory soap. It's very important to use ivory soap. No other type of soap, okay? Just ivory. And you'll want to get out a plate, a microwave-safe plate, and put the bar of soap on the plate right in the middle. And we're going to put it in the microwave. And I'm going to put it in there for 2 minutes. And we're going to see what happens. Also, while this is happening, you might want to get out a pot holder because the plate will be hot. Do you see the soap expanding? It's growing and growing. Whoa! It is increasing in size. Woo! It's filling up the microwave. I'm gonna put everything back so you can get a good view of this here. The reason it's doing that is because ivory soap has a lot of air pockets in it. And when the air pockets heat up, it causes the soap to expand. Woo! It is growing and growing and growing. We have another 40 seconds left. Oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to fill the microwave. All right, let's pull it out here. So that is a picture of how God should increase in our lives. So you'll want to use a pot holder or a towel when you grab the plate because it might be hot. And the soap will probably be hot too. But you can touch it eventually. And see how it puffed up so much, but then when you touch it, it goes back to being small. So again, we want God to increase in our lives, and we want to decrease. So you can also use this soap to wash your hands or use it in the bath after the experiment. So put that here. Well, thank you for joining us this week for our AWANA lesson. And next week I'll be in a different spot and a different lesson. So hope to see you then. Bye-bye.